The Mountaineers are headed to take on North Carolina in the Meineke Car Care Bowl. We sat down with Bill Stewart and Pat White to get their views on the season, the team, and what the future holds. Welcome to the Friends of Cole West Virginia Mountaineer 08 Special.
Hi, welcome to this West Virginia Media Meineke Car Care Football Special. I'm Bray Cary, and in just a few hours, the Mountaineers will close out the 2009 football season as they take on the Tar Heels of North Carolina down in Charlotte. As you know, this has been a sometimes turbulent and to some, a disappointing season of transition for Coach Bill Stewart. In just a few minutes, we'll talk with Coach Stewart in a frank and candid discussion, not only just about this year's team, but his blueprint for returning the Mountaineers to their quest for the national championship. And he thinks he can do it in 2 years. But first, we had a rare chance to talk with perhaps the greatest athlete ever to play for the blue and gold. Here is number 5, Pat White. Welcome to Morgantown, Pat White. What a wonderful career, and congratulations on being the most accomplished quarterback in NCAA history.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Pat, where did you start to learn to become a leader? Because that's really what this is all about.
I guess from my parents, being around my family, and the things that they instilled in, the values.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about growing up in Alabama? Tell us what it was like in your house and your parents and your brother.
Well, I mean, definitely sports fanatic. I think my mom being the biggest one. But we grew up involved in sports from an early age, or either going to watch older cousins or older family members play. And it's just something that excited and kept my interest.
And when did you start to realize that you had some special skills that maybe were better than the average guy?
I don't think I've yet to realize it. I love what I do. I enjoy playing football, and I mean, anytime I have the opportunity, I'm gonna give everything I have.
And when you decided to come to West Virginia, did you have did you think in your mind that it could end up this way, that you could become the most accomplished quarterback ever?
Definitely didn't cross my mind. I was just hoping.
But you wanted to play. You came here because this was a chance to play quarterback, and a lot of other people were saying you're too small. Or
yeah, definitely that, and they were the most honest I felt. And a lot of people said this or said that, and I guess I didn't feel that they were being completely honest. And West Virginia was, I feel, completely honest.
And has West Virginia lived up to your expectations? I mean, is there anything that's disappointed you or anything that surprised you?
Definitely some of the nicest people in America. It's a great state, West by God, Virginia, huh?
Do you realize, I mean, has it dawned on you yet what you have meant to this state in terms of not only inspiring an entire state, but you've accomplished more perhaps than any athlete ever in this state? I mean,
I just enjoy what I do. I'm just out here having fun.
And when you talk to your parents, what after a game, what do they say? What do you say?
Well, my mom always gets on me about sliding and getting out of bounds.
She worried about you getting hurt.
Yeah, she's worried about me getting hurt, and my dad just, happy to see me because, we're 15 hours away from home.
Was your dad an athlete?
He really didn't have the support system that we did. He worked from a young age.
And what about your brother? What does he tell you? Has he been a help, or does he give you the raspberries? Or
I think every little bit helps. I mean, every little piece of something that you get from anybody, it's gonna help you along the way. So but definitely with my family, my immediate family, they've given me more than most.
And as you think back over your career here, has there been any one game that stands out as like this was the most unbelievable accomplishment, or the biggest win, or the biggest amount of teamwork? Is there any game that stands out?
I'll say the first real big win that I was a part of was the Sugar Bowl. And nobody gave us a chance.
That was against Georgia.
Yeah, nobody gave us a chance at all.
And did you, going into that game, did you all believe you could win, or did you think, oh, we're going to get killed?
We feel that anytime we step on the field, we have a chance to win. As long as we play as a team, have cohesiveness. And
Let's go back to that Sugar Bowl for just a second in Atlanta. I guess that was about 3 years ago, and you guys were, you were, what were you thinking as you walked onto that field? When did you start to think, you know what, we can beat these guys?
With me, I'm not afraid of anybody on the field. I mean, I'm a competitor, so I know how to choose my battles wisely, don't get me wrong. But I feel that from day one of that season, we felt like we had a chance.
We'll be back with more Pat White after this.
We now return to the Friends of Cole Mountaineer 08 special.
And was it the Louisville game where you first really came onto the scene? And you came in as quarterback that, 4 year, I guess, in your freshman year, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was it like? Because when you came on, we were in trouble. We were behind quite a bit. What were you thinking? What were your thoughts?
Give the ball to Steve. He's going to get it in the zone. What, he had 6 touchdowns that game?
Yeah.
I just want to go out there and make plays for the team. That's the only thing that was on my mind.
Do you and Steve talk much? Have you talked?
He's my best friend.
And what's he thinking in the NFL? Is he telling you, come on, there's something for you here?
Well, he enjoys it. It was a dream come true for him. And he's had a very successful year so far.
Extremely.
He gives me a little insight. I mean, not too much, but I guess he's like, he understands that I want to enjoy my senior year. So, I mean, we really don't talk too much about what's going on in the NFL or college football. We just talk and congratulate each other. We're like brothers.
But you're still close. You are like brothers.
We're like
right?
brothers, yeah, definitely.
And do you see him at all? Have you had a chance to see him since the season started?
I actually went up to Cleveland and watched him play the Browns, and kind of surprised him. He didn't know I was going to be there, and waited for him after the game. It was a pretty good feeling to see Steve.
And what were you thinking when you're sitting there watching your teammate from last year, and he's among the best athletes in the entire world, being extremely successful?
I wanted every play to go to Steve. I wanted every ball to go to Steve Slayton. I just wanted to watch Steve.
Did you see him in the game this past week against the Tennessee Titans, right towards the end of the game when it was 13-12, and he went into the pile-up, and then he came out of there and exploded for like
35. No, I didn't see it. Heard about it.
I mean, it was so vintage
Steve.
of you two guys when y'all were such a team.
Yeah.
When you think about the NFL, what do you think you'll be a quarterback? Do you have a chance to know what you might do there?
I hope I get the opportunity. That's all I can do.
And you'll do whatever they ask you to do.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me about your degree. How important was it, and how did you get on such an accelerated pace that you were able to complete it? I mean, you just got your degree like a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's obviously been some sort of a priority for you, right?
Definitely so. That's what my parents sent me to school for. But, I mean, it took me 4.5 years. We have players like Johnny Holmes that got his degree in 3.5 years. So I guess I kind of slacked in that department. But I guess West Virginia, you get a 5-year plan.
And if football, when it comes to a close, I mean, at some point you'll not be playing football. Do you have a sense of what you want to do as a profession?
I have no clue. Wherever the wind blows.
Do you conceive that the wind could blow you back to Mountain State to come among the people that really think you're something special?
I don't know where it's going to blow. I'm just going to ride.
And what's it been like? You know, you were very instrumental in Bill Stewart becoming coach. You went from Rich Rodriguez to Bill Stewart. You've been a huge supporter of him. How has that transition year been? Because that's probably called on more leadership for you than otherwise, because you're sort of the constant guy.
The transition from
Coach Rodriguez to Coach Stewart.
Well, they're two different people. I mean, they have two different ways of thinking about things. I mean, they have similarities but differences. So you just have to learn to adjust. Coach Stu had a very successful first season as a head coach.
Right.
Very proud of him.
And what are you telling your brother? Is your brother going to be a quarterback? Is that?
As of right now, he's a quarterback. I stay on him in practice probably more than what he needs, but I just want him to be the most successful person in our family, period.
More successful than you?
Yeah.
That would be a great day for West Virginia if he's more successful.
He's
than
my
you.
little brother. I can't help but to.
Is he faster, stronger, tougher?
He's everything.
He's more Will you be in Morgantown during the second semester, or will you're going to go back to Alabama and then you'll start going to training camp?
Yep.
And what do you expect from that? I mean, do they actually start? Is it like a training camp, or?
I just know I'm going to try to get better.
And
that's all I know.
And at what point will you engage an agent? You can't do that until after your season's over. Right?
Yeah, after the season's over. I'm lost in those aspects.
What person's had more impact on your career than anybody else?
What person? If I would have to say any person, it would be me. I mean, there have been a million people that have influenced me in many different ways, but I guess I'm the one that has to get up and do it every day.
And how do you drive yourself? How do you motivate yourself to be better than you have been? Because it seems that each game you do something a little bit better and a little bit faster.
Well, I just try to have fun. It's all about fun to me. If I'm not enjoying myself or I lose any lust or love for the game, then why play it? As long as that fire's still burning.
And do you have any second thoughts about coming to West Virginia?
No, not at all.
You would recommend this. You obviously recommended it to your brother, who you must think a lot of.
It's almost heaven.
All right.
Yes.
Well, Pat White, we, on behalf of a very, very grateful Mountain State and all the West Virginia fans, we thank you for what you've contributed to our program and to our state.
Yes,
And thank you very much.
And we thank you for the support.
Coach Bill Stewart is standing by after this commercial break.
We now return to the Friends of Cole Mountaineer 08 special.
And we're here in Morgantown, Coach Bill Stewart. And Coach, you actually had the best record of any of the first-year coaches in America this year.
Well, I did not know that, Bray, but I feel very blessed. That's a tribute to the young men in the arena, this staff, and kind of what we've tried to do this year.
And how would you rate the season?
I'm a former history teacher, and I always tried to grade as fair and as positive as I could. And what I would say, defensively, replacing those 8 starters, I would say we had a good B+. We weren't in the A category, but we were B+.
Let me interrupt you for a
okay.
second. You say you're not in an A category, because I think a lot of people would have put that defense in an A, particularly after the second or third game. What kept you from being an A?
I think early in the season, we made some adjustments and did very well. We didn't get off the field. It was the only problem we had.
You let the other teams stay on the
possession of
They
field.
drove too long.
On possession
which
time,
didn't give you enough time with it.
not on the offense, and we lost field position so many times. When the offense then had to pick up and go 90 yards, 85 yards, 80 yards. That's the only fault I had after the second game of the season. And I'll explain that in a minute also. But I'd say about a B+ for the defense. And I think the special teams, I would say a B, because it would have been an A category, A- had we not been so bad on kickoff. But we're second in the country punting the ball. Yeah, our punter was up for the Ray Guy Award.
And what happened on the kickoff? Because I would say most people, when they say special teams, they look at that kickoff and say, "Ooh, that might have been a C-."
Well, that's worse than that. I'd give it an F. It's one phase of the game. Kickoff return was good. The punt was good. Punt block was good. PAT field goal was excellent all year. It just that darn kickoff team. So I'd say about a B for special. Now, the offensively,
and on the kickoff teams,
bad.
But what? Do you know what the problem was?
Our hang time wasn't as good, although it wasn't bad from the kicker. We did not get off blocks as well as in the past. I did not use as many tricks as I did in the past, crossing guys, doing some actual things. And I learned. I said, you know what? And I had to fire a few guys. I just said, you know what? I put couple starters back on there. Most of our starters, most people on the punt team are starters. That's why they're second in America, Bray. The kickoff team, I didn't want to put the same defensive youngsters out there again. One reason was we didn't get off the field as much as fast as I'd like to as we've done in the past. So we went with some guys that weren't quite as athletic, and it cost us. It really cost us. So that being said, other than the kickoff team itself, we had a good year special teams-wise. Offensively, threw the ball so much better, played so much better in the Pitt game. We won't beat Pitt in a million years doing what we were doing. We won't beat South Florida in a million years doing what we were doing.
What do you mean doing what you're doing?
In the past, we had to throw the ball. They kept loading the box. And we'll talk more about that, but I'd say about a C+ because we just did not do well enough on third down. There was no Owen Smiths.
And is that really the problem on third down, particularly third down in short yardage, that we just didn't have enough power to run people over?
Yes, sir. It's exactly the problem. It's an attitude. And what I've always loved about West Virginia football, when it was third and short, we were getting it. And we could not do that this year. We tried at Colorado. We tried at a couple other games. We just didn't have the manpower. We were too many young guys. We'll be better next year. Our backs are good scat backs. Our backs are spread backs. Our backs are 175 pounds. And they get tripped up on an arm tackle, or they get bounced out to the outside, and then we'd lose a yard or two. But the old down here Mountaineer football play, that we ran with Quincy, we ran for many, many years with all the wonderful tailbacks that Coach Nealon had. We didn't have Owen Smith and Stevie Slayton. And that hurt us. It just hurt us. Now,
what do you next year? Where is Owen Smith?
We have two freshmen that are going to be good.
They're freshmen now.
Yes, sir. And they just weren't ready to play. Bray, if they were ready to play, I'd have played them. And someone said, "We'll move a defensive lineman." Well, you try that and get a guy's knee. Scooter Berry, I don't get his knee blown up. A guy undercut him, and you have to practice on defense. The Cooper youngster had some head issues. I didn't want to get him lost to a concussion. Because when you play fullback now, you need to be Owen Smith. You need a bust face mask. We just didn't have that guy. Plus, our running back wasn't as big. So we were more of a spread you out. And I don't like the word finesse, but we just had to spread you out and try to hit places that you weren't. Run Pat White, run Jarrett Brown a little bit. Now, that's awful when your backup quarterback has to come in as your big back. And that's what happened a few games. I mean, let's be honest. And we just didn't have the manpower that I want, that we're going to have in the future. And then we need to get this program to where when we get that mentality, that Mountaineer mentality, that Pittsburgh Steelers mentality. When it's 3rd and 1, it's our down. We're going to move the chains.
More on our bowl special after this timeout.
We now return to the Friends of Cole Mountaineer 08 special.
Well, let me ask you, as we look to the future, what are your goals for this program over the next 2, 3, 4 years?
Well, first and foremost, I want to be a whole lot more balanced offensively. We have got 1st and 10, 2nd and long, 2nd mean, 3rd downs, all but the 3rd and short. That really frustrated me. We're going to become a more power-running football team, what Mountaineer fans have seen since 1980, and even beyond with Coach Bowden. Bray, we'll go back to brass tactics, good old-fashioned knuckle.
Does the spread, do you believe that just isn't as complete enough? I don't know how to say it, but it's not.
That's a good word.
It doesn't give you the tools you need.
Not on short yardage. It just absolutely does not. It does not. The spread is a great offense, but so is the wishbone, so is the power I, so is the split T. People catch up to the spread. And what do you do when people lock down your corners like USC did, South Florida the last 2 years, Pitt last year in a real heartbreaking loss? They locked our corners down, or wide receivers down with 2 good corners, and the safeties come down the box. They always have an extra guy or 2 to tackle you, and we just couldn't. That's just not advantageous on 3rd down.
How would you describe our offense in the future?
More same motion and movement, much
more passing.
Yes, 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 sir. I want to be balanced. I want to be a 60% run and a 40% pass. Some games you win, you want to be about 65% run.
And in our running game of the future, do you see the quarterback doing this? I mean, obviously you've had a pretty special person in Pat White.
The best.
Do you see the quarterback next year and then after that running as much as Pat did?
No, I see Major Harris type of quarterback. Jarrett Brown, and I don't want to put any pressure on that young, is not Major Harris. We have a recruit coming in that is an elite 11. He's probably the fifth best, supposedly fifth, if some are rating third, fourth, fifth, whatever. He's pretty good. When you're the elite 11, that means you're one of the best 11 in the country. Young man out of Florida. He is a lot like Major Harris. They're not, they being Jarrett and this young man, I'm not allowed to say it this time because of recruiting violations, Bray are going to be more of the Major Harris mode. They pass the ball better than Patrick did, but can't run the ball like Patrick. There's no way. Patrick White comes on once in a lifetime, once. These guys are more like Major Harris. They're more like a Vince Young. They're running passers. Where Patrick was, he's just a tremendous runner. And he passed the ball, but Pat wasn't asked to pass till this year.
Coach Stewart has more to say after this commercial.
We now return to the Friends of Cole Mountaineer 08 special.
So going back to our goals, I mean, how will you judge our program in terms of successes? Is it a Big East championship, a national championship? Is it beating Marshall? Is it, I mean...
Big East championship, first and foremost, will always be the #1 goal. I think with the schedule we play, the 7 Big East teams, and you need a marquee game, you need a marquee name, you need that glitter game. Auburn, for instance, this year.
Right.
You beat Auburn. That's a glitter game. In 2010 and 2011, Bray Cary, I'll look you dead in the eye and tell you we have a chance to really be special. Not that 2009 won't be good, because we have a chance to be a good football team. We're not going to be just quite there in terms of taking this thing.
But you could be a top 10 team in
We could be
10,
close.
10,
Oh, yes. Yes,
10
sir.
or 11?
Yes, sir.
Just trying to gaze into the crystal ball. Where would you rank West Virginia's team next year preseason? Where do you think they'll fall?
I would say...
No, I'm not in the top 20. I'm talking about in the Big East.
I think the Big East will be Pitt, be the team to beat. I think Rutgers came on in the flourish. I think they'll pick us in the top 3, second, third, or fourth. I hope they pick us 7th or 8th. I hope they pick us.
Yeah.
I hope they do. But I really think 6th, 7th, or 8th, that'll get our guys further. I think we'll be second. Some polls will be second, some will be third, most will probably be fourth, because they'll say, well, Pitt's better now, Cincinnati's better now. I can't wait to play them. Can't wait to play Pitt. I like to play Pitt the first game of the season. I like to play Pitt 12th game of the season.
Play them twice.
Love to do it.
Let's talk about your coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
You all have had a year together. Should we expect a lot of changes, or is that what you expect most of them to be back?
Oh, yes, sir. Those guys always trying to get my guys. I've already had 2 of them get offers already, and the season's not even over. The bowl game's not even here. Our defense, this is what I did with Jeff Castile and Bill Kurlavich staying and holding the rope. I knew we had the foundation for the defense. So when I got 2 great Mountaineers, David Lockwood, who played here and coached here, Steve Dunlap, who played here and coached here, our defense was solidified immediately. I knew it right then. I said, boy, this is great. That's why we played so well. Now, when you replace 5 guys on the offensive side, there had to be some gelling. There was some gelling. I related to, I'm from over on the industrial High River in Wetzel County. I can relate it to down where you're from, where we're all from over here in the mines, or I worked at the Hayward Power Plant when I was a young man in college. I had to replace 7 foremen, Bray. Under those 7 foremen are 10, 12 to 15 workers. That's what I had to replace. Productivity did not drop off that bad. We did not go 3-9. We went 8-4. We were 10 points from an 11-1 Orange Bowl year, but we didn't get the job done in those 3 losses by 10 points. So, am I gleefully happy? No, I'm not happy.
But you have confidence in your offensive coaches.
Absolutely. Wouldn't have hired them if I didn't. Great coaches.
And
our
as
players
far,
love them.
and as, barring a totally unforeseen situation, they're going to all be back.
I hope so. I hope and pray they're all back. I sure want them to be back. Like I said, 2 have already received job opportunities.
Are they turned them down?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So right now there's nothing on the table with any of your coaches that
Not,
you know of.
Exactly. And they would tell me, I've got the best coaching staff that's ever worked in this program, ever.
There's more on our bowl special after this message.
We now return to the Friends of Cole Mountaineer '08 special.
How's recruiting?
Great. Not good. The season was good. Recruiting's great.
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 Top 20
Oh,
recruiting?
without a doubt for the
Top
first time.
10?
No. There will never be that until we can start getting the big-time receivers like we once had. In the spread offense, I understand, Bray, with Patrick White, Stevie Slayton, and Owen Smith running all those runs, and just bubble screens to Darius Renaud, we didn't get the great receivers we'd had here, the David Saunders, the Reggie Rimmers, the tight ends. Thank my God the tight ends used to be in this program. Anthony Beck, Mark Rao. Now we finally went out and got us a freshman, Tyler Urban, moved to wide receiver, Will Johnson. We're just starting to get those guys back. See, because when you run the spread, it's all about the quarterback and the running back and bubble screens. That's all. That's all. Couldn't get receivers. Couldn't get receivers to come. We just out of Tidewater, Virginia, have the #1 receiver on the East Coast joining our football program. So I'm very excited about that. So when I say great, I mean great. Now, is it up to USC standards or Notre Dame standards? I don't pay attention to those people. I know it's up to Mountaineer standards, and to me, it's a top 10.
Let's talk about this season for just a sec. If you had one game that you could play over, which game would it be and why?
I wish I could say 2 games.
Okay, well, say 2. Take 2.
Well, let me answer this. We're a halfback pass, a double pass away from winning in Boulder.
Yes.
I'd like to have that opportunity back. We're a drop pass at Pitt from winning. And in Cincinnati, we're a drop pass going in towards the Swedes, a couple of drop passes of beating those people. I don't like losing any league games. I really don't. That kills me. But that loss out there at Boulder, although we gelled that night as a team, well, if we complete that halfback, that throwback pass.
Could that have changed the season?
Well, I think it made it more. We changed that night because the guys knew. In the locker room, Bray, there were tears and there was confusion, and people said, there were reports, there were defense and offense were fighting. There wasn't any fighting in that locker room. I was in that locker room. If there's fighting, I'll tell people. I see a half a glass of water, it's a half a glass of water. It's not half full, it's not half empty. It's a glass of water, halfway full. So if there's fighting in the locker room, I'll tell people. There was no fighting. We bonded that night. But daggum, if we could have won that game, if that pass could have just not fluttered and been caught, Bray, leaving Boulder a winner would have been powerful that Thursday night.
Was there ever a point during this season that you thought you might lose the team in terms of...
Never.
They never blinked.
Never.
And you never blinked.
Never.
Did you? What was it like after the East Carolina? Because
Tough.
You didn't see that, did you?
Tough.
You didn't see that coming.
No, I told them, I said, guys, you've got to, there was, again, a senior-laden team, best team he's had down there.
And when they lost later in the season, what I don't know if a lot of people realize, they had a lot of injuries right after. They started losing 1 or 2 starters per game for about 4 games there.
They ended up 9-4, and they won their league.
Right. Good
Football team. Going to do good in the bowl. South Florida, this was the year all South Floridians, Bray, the coaches on the road recruiting had been telling the high school coaches, this was their year. This was their year to do it. I think, now please, I hope people take this right. In 2009, we're going to be pretty good. How good, I don't know. We're going to have a chance in all of them. We're going to have a chance. There'll be some tough ones here and there'll be some tough ones on the road, but we'll have a good football team. We'll be young, but we're going to be good. 2010, all those sophomores and freshmen are starting on defense now. That tight end freshman I'm starting. Those young backs next year we're going to bring in here. Those fullbacks I'm talking about. That young quarterback's going to be in here. That Elite 11 quarterback. He'll be in the program 2 years by then, or 3. 2010, 2011, we're going to be a powerful football team.
Coach Stewart has more to say after this commercial.
We now return to the Friends of Cole Mountaineer '08 special.
I was very blessed growing up in New Martinsville, West Virginia. I was very blessed to attend this state flagship university, also to graduate from Fairmont State. So I had tremendous role models. And when you grew up in the era in which you and I did, and those World War II vets were in your community, and they were teachers in your hallway, and they were men at the baseball field teaching you, I tingle right now thinking about it. I was a blessed young man in New Martinsville in the 50s and 60s. I coached these guys the exact same way I was coached. I talked to them about being a good character and a good man. not just some character out here. I mean, a good human character man. I talked to him about being a great dad. I talked to him about being a man of faith. I don't care if you're Muslim, Mormon, Latter-day Saint, Mormon, the Catholic, Baptist, Church of Christ. It doesn't matter. Just be a person of faith. And I talked to him about being accountable academically, socially with each other, just gelling right. And when you go that over and over and over, the good ones like the Patrick White, and we got a bunch of good ones like him, they buy in. They just need to be told. They need to be shown.
Have you ever seen an athlete with greater, it seems to me that Pat White has as great an athletic skill and as great a responsibility, leadership skill that I've ever seen in anyone. Is that a fair statement? I mean, he just seems like he is so mature and so, I mean, he's clearly blessed with skill, but he's blessed with something special up here.
Yes.
Is that right?
And a great heart. Raised by a wonderful mother and dad. Raised the right way. Tremendous coaches, tremendous people in his community of Daphne, Alabama. Patrick White does not want to let anyone down. He is, without a doubt, the greatest winner I've ever been around. And I've been around some good football players. He's the greatest winner I've ever been around, Bray. That being said, as Coach Nealon used to tell people, whatever it is, Major had it. Now, what is it? It's what you're describing. The intangibles, the mind, the personality, the heart, the guts, the tenacity, the toughness to go out there and play when you're hurt. I'm in the locker room, Bray, as his position coach at the Sugar Bowl. The kid he carried us. He just beat, he hit him, and they hit him. Then, God bless him, the next year against Georgia Tech in the Gator Bowl, I'm talking to him at halftime, going over the things we're doing. He has an ice bag on both neck parts, on his wrist and on his ankle. And I looked and I said, guys, I shouldn't play this kid. He said, Coach, I'm playing now, so I can go. Because he told me the truth out here in the Rutgers game that Jarrett Brown was such a hero in 06, 2 years ago. Coach, I can't go. I can't protect myself. I said, did you ever see the movie Clint Eastwood, $1 Million Baby? He looked at me and I said, protect yourself at all times. You're not playing. Now, I got some flack from my fellow assistants. And I went up and told Rich, and Rich said, set him. I'm on you, Stu. Let's go. Jarrett can do it. That's the relationship Patrick and I had. He's told me every single time, Bray, he didn't want to hurt the team. And when he couldn't protect himself and he didn't want to hurt the team, he came out one time.
More on our bowl special after this timeout.
We now return to the Friends of Cole Mountaineer 08 special.
And how good can Noel Devine be?
As good as he wants, and I don't know how much he wants, to be very honest.
Okay.
I don't mean that bad.
Right.
I just say he's not Steve Slayton. He's not Patrick White. He's not Mark Magro. He's not Ryan Mundy. He is who he is. He wants to be well. But wanting to be well and living and doing everything right to be well, that's what makes
I mean, is he doing all the things off the field that he needs?
He's doing a lot better. He needs a lot of hugging and loving. And I try to do that. And I try to be a father figure to him. I have to jerk him every now and then. I have to
Can you get Pat to go talk to him and say,
yes.
hey, come on?
Pat and a bunch of them have. He has grown. He's grown immensely. I'm so proud. The three little amigos, the Jock Sanders, the Brandon Hogan, and Noel Devine, I'm very, very proud. Some coaches would have probably fired all three of them at one time, but I gave them a chance to grow. You see, in life, we have to give our young people roots. Then we'll give them the wings when at due time. They still need some roots. But Sanders is really starting to come on. Brandon Hogan's starting to come on. And Noel's coming. He'll get better and better. He just never had to do it before. He's never had to be a Patrick White, a Steve Slayton, a Mark Magro, or Ryan Mundy, those kind of young men. And that comes with being part of a team.
If you look to the future, what do you see?
I see a great Mountaineer football tradition continuing. I see young men living right. I see young men leaving this program being good husbands, good dads, good men in society, and good men of faith. I see young men giving thrills to the 65, 60,000 people throughout this state to come very, very, very faithfully every week. those not only in this great state of West Virginia, but those in America and those overseas. And I see people proud of the way we're going to play in the old gold and blue. Will we get upset? Yeah. Will we get beat? Yes. Can't win them all. Try to win them all. We're going to coach hard to win them all. But I see a program that is going to explode by doing things the right way all the time.
Talk about character, and you talk about the character of your players.
Mm-hmm.
And you started out when some of the guys got out of line, you addressed them and set them down or sent them home or whatever was the appropriate thing to do in your opinion. Do you have a different view of that, having been in the seat you're in as the head coach and saying, oh, this may affect the ability to win, or have you second guessed how you do that at all?
Not one iota. Not one iota. If my son, we went out last year, I'll answer it by saying this, to the Fiesta Bowl when 84% of the country, heck, probably some back in this great state, didn't think we had a chance. 84% of the country thought we couldn't win. We took 125 young men in that desert for 8 days and 7 nights. I had one curfew violation because I talked to them like men and I treated them like men. I worked them hard and I told them exactly what was going to happen. One guy had a curfew bust. I sent him home. If it's my son someday, if he's fortunate enough to play here, I will send him home without batting an eye. Nobody is going to take the heart of this program and not do what we ask them to do. It's all built on character.
We'll be back with more Coach Stewart after this.
We now return to the Friends of Cole Mountaineer 08 special.
One of the, I guess, fallouts from the transition from Rich to you and with President Garrison and all the chaos that was surrounding this program last year, some alumni pushed back from the program. Do you feel like you're starting to bring those people back in?
Very much so. I've reached out to people. The great thing about America, Bray, is that people are not only allowed to give their opinion on a subject matter, but they're encouraged. But that's the other great thing about America. Those of us in the arena, we have a chance to work hard and prove people wrong. I'm sure there's people that thought they could go get a better football coach at West Virginia, or they can go get a better football coach now at Auburn, or they could go get a better football coach at whatever school's opened up. From Notre Dame to Salem College to wherever, they go get a better football coach. Well, that's what makes the world go around. That's opinion, and that's good. So with what we've done with Stephen Douglas and our alumni, we've gone out and we've reached out. What Bobby's done, what Mike Cary's done, what Marlon's done, what Linda Burdett's done, what all the coaches and myself included have done is try to go out and reach out to our fans, most importantly our big boosters, to our backers, and say, just get to know me. That's all I ask. And I'll bet you by the end of the day, by the end of that golf round, you'll say, you know what, I wouldn't mind that guy coaching my son. Because he's never going to abuse him. He's never going to embarrass him with filthy, vulgar talk. And is he going to work him hard? You bet. Is he going to jerk a knot in him if he does wrong? You bet. Is he going to discipline him if he needs it? You bet. Is he going to be there for him in the middle of the night when my kid needs it? You bet. Once those boosters, backers, and alumni know what kind of men we are, what kind of staff I have, there's not any doubt at all in my mind. They say, press on, we're Mountaineers. Let's go. We've got the right guys. Let's get behind them. And that's happened this year. So I'm very grateful about that.
As you evaluate yourself this year, are you glad you have this job?
You bet. I'm the proudest, happiest man in America. When I go on that field, when I was on that Fiesta Bowl that night, I got on my knees and I prayed. I don't mind saying that because I tell you the truth. And I thought of Mom and Dad. I thought of New Martinsville, West Virginia, and all my roots. And I thought of the Mountaineers, the true Mountaineer. that blue collar, hard-working, morally sensitive person just said, just go give him everything you got. You hit him right in the jaw, you hit him in the heart, and you play with such a passion that will never, ever doubt you. That's what I did. That's what we did. We got those guys, we rallied those guys, and in times when, and after East Carolina this year, when I walked off that field, I knew what to say, I knew what to do, and I knew how to bring them back. And the night in Boulder, we became a football team. Now, after that, I'm very sorry, and I hate it, that we just didn't have enough manpower to beat Cincinnati and Pitt. That's what sticks in my craw. Had we gotten those 2 wins after that rocky start, I'd be a more happier camper right now, but I'm still going to be the same guy. I'm the happiest guy and the most grateful man in this state right now.
Do you believe with all your heart that you are going to be a successful coach over the next 3 or 4 years?
Yes, I do.
And do you believe there's a better place to coach football than Morgantown, West Virginia?
Absolutely not. I'll never leave you.
Does God direct your life every day?
He along with others. I try to be, and I fall way short of the glory. People say Billy Stewart's a nice man. I try to live right. I really do. I try to emulate my father, who was the best man I ever met. People in Martinsville, West Virginia would tell you that Blaine Stewart, Big Blaine, my son's little Blaine after my dad, that Blaine Stewart was a great guy. I will never be my dad. I was way too rough around the edges, way too ornery. Been too many scrapes. So I am a nice guy, but I will fight you and I will swing first when you do something to harm the program, my family, and lastly me. I'll fight. I don't want to do that. I don't wake up to do that, but I will fight. People that know me will tell you that. I don't like that part of Bill Stewart, but it's there. But I get a chance to wake up every single morning. This is what my mom and dad taught me. This is what West Virginians taught me. This is what my hometown and all those World War II vets and all those great role models I had taught me as a kid. That I have a chance to wake up every morning and control one thing, Billy Stewart's attitude. That's my right. And no man, no woman, no God, nobody has any right to tell me how to control that attitude but me. That's what I believe. I rely on my faith, which wavered many, many years. But I rely on my faith. And I'm a very proud Catholic. I went through Catholicism very proudly. I'm raising my son that way. I'm married to a great bride in Karen. And I have great people in my life. So it's very easy to be in control of this attitude. There are tough days. That's how life is. There are bumps in the road. That's always going to be. But at the end of the day, at the end of the journey, I think someday St. Peter will say, come on up here, old fair-haired son. You did okay. You did the best you could. And that's all we can ask for. That's all I'm going to ask for.
Do you think St. Pete might say, you come, but you shouldn't have let the Pitt game get away?
Yeah, I think if he's a football fan, Bray, he'll say it. He'll say it.
Bill Stewart, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, and God bless you for this wonderful opportunity, and to all West Virginians, wherever they may be.
I hope this bowl game's an early start to your New Year's celebration. You know, it's unlikely that we'll ever have another person like Pat White leading the Mountaineers. He's a humble and selfless person as you'll ever find, but he has the drive to win that is unequaled. He came here from Alabama to go to school, but we're proud to call him a West Virginian. What he's done for WVU and our state can simply not be measured. Through his daily grind of study and physical preparation, he came ready to play every contest, and when it was all on the line, he would ignore pain and any other obstacle just to get to victory. He gave us everything he had and showed us and all of America that West Virginia can be a winner on the nation's biggest stage and that we can do it the right way. On behalf of every old gold and blue fan and every West Virginian, we say thank you, Pat White, and let's go, Mountaineers.
This is a production of West Virginia Media, a company owned and operated by West Virginians. Our stations are committed to improving the quality of life in your town and in your state for a better future.